Now we're here to talk about Mukhbir, the story of a spy. Well, I've watched the trailer, and congratulations are in order because the show looks promising. I mean, each and every actor's role and everything, as far as we've seen, I think it looks so intriguing. And I'm sure anybody who else has watched the trailer is looking forward to the show. So, first of all, walk us through the show. Like, what is the show like based on your character, through your character's journey? What is it like?
So my character's journey, if I can be very specific, it is about the making of Spy. It is about, obviously, it aims at telling you the story of unsung heroes, but it goes into a very human journey that Spy undergoes. It goes into exploring the inner workings, the inner turmoil, the inner uh, tragedy of the amount of sacrifice that has to be made to be good at what you do as a spy, I suppose. It's a story that of of a person who, although has all the workings or the foundation to be a good spy, is put into these circumstances all of a sudden, and he rises to the occasion to save his country from a war. Based, it is inspired from true events that took place around 1960, 60, 65. And it really endeavors to tell you a story inspired by true events, but things that truly happened, and that is, have been instrumental in bringing us to the point that we are in our history.
Right. Well, we've seen you in different roles in Bell Bottom and Shikara, although they were of a serious nature as well. But this role, how would you, as an actor, tell us that preparing for this role was different from the other roles that you've done so far? How was the experience like for you preparing for
Well,
it?
when you're preparing for a role preparing for any role, you have to be as serious as you generally are in terms of preparation. But
Right.
This is very different because in terms of just the scale, just the graph, just the number, just the graph that your character has inevitably, because it's a series based on around 8 episodes. So, and when you're reading it, this unending number of pages that your character, you go through. When you're reading, you're also reading every episode, which is going to be like 40 to 50 minutes of, and then your character will be, if being a protagonist, it has a substantial bit in all of that. So the preparation becomes even more in terms of the sequences that you will do, the changes that you will go through as an actor, as a character. The graph is much more vivid than it would be in a film. This has been, I think, in terms of my graph, in terms of where the character starts and ends up at, this is by far the most detailed work I have done, and it required preparation that was as detailed to truly live up to the expectations, I suppose.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, I think we all have that sort of respect for our unsung heroes and everybody who's been a part of the independence journey or the struggles of a country. But I'm sure while reading the part as well, you have those weird emotions of, patriotic emotions and feelings pop up, I'm sure, at every point.
They always do, yeah. I think when you love the country that you live in, you're bound to feel a lot of different emotions, as you do for even interpersonal relationships. So it translates there as well. However, the character is such that you'll have to, when you do watch, goes through a journey of respecting his nation.
Yes.
Goes through a journey of truly understanding, how much it matters to him over the course of the series. So, in a lot of ways, I had to also let myself be right at the start. Even though, I felt differently at the start personally. When my character starts his journey, I had to let the
Right.
character take over my emotions and not
Right.
feel as Zain Khan would, but as Kamran Baksh would, and then eventually graduate into Harfan and then the Harfan that you will find to be by the end of the series. So when you play a character and which has a graph such as this, you really truly have to surrender, as in any other character, or I suppose I must say to the journey of your character, because only then would you be truly honest with it and true to it.
Definitely. Well, I mean, on a little unrelated note, is like filming such a show, such a serious show, is the set mahal or environment always serious, or that is there any funny incident or pranks that the co-actors play amongst each other just to keep your sanity intact? That because this can take a toll on yourself as well. So what is
You
it like?
always have to do that.
Yeah.
I have mentioned this earlier as well, and I, I maintain this that for whatever reasons, the actors do end up becoming the center of attention on a set.
Right.
And if you, as an actor, are in a certain, you have a certain temper or you're in a certain mood, it translates. It translates. It goes around the set. The
Yeah.
whole, just like you said, the mahal becomes like
Yeah.
that. So to keep that, at bay, to keep that jovial, to keep that cordial and congenial, you have to take measures because at the end of the day, yeah, everybody is working really hard on that set.
Definitely.
From set, the people who are making the set, people who are doing the
Yes.
artwork, people who are doing the lights, everybody, physically at least is working harder, you know, unless you're doing an action sequence. But sure, everybody
Definitely.
has, so, and the director is generally busy with so many 10 different things.
Yes.
They're
Right.
figuring out so much, they're figuring out a lot of times, on such tight schedules, you see that the director is also concerned about how the next day is going to be shot. So
Mm.
their mind is in those places. So a
Right.
certain amount of responsibility you take upon yourself as whatever little part you are truly at the end of the
Yeah.
day of that huge wheel. You're a small cog in that. You take up that responsibility to sort of, at least if not nothing else, at least be, kind, at least be polite, around the set.
Yes. Definitely.
If you don't have a sense of humor, then at least, say a couple of nice things. But if you have a sense of humor, then exercise it, say a couple of nice things,
Definitely. Yes.
ask people
Yes.
how they're doing. And,
Correct.
it's not necessary to just play pranks. I mean, I'm not, if, when I think about it, I'm not truly a prankster. I don't like surprising people like that, scaring people like that
Okay.
because it can be very scary. And but yeah, I make a lot of, I would go around the set and I suppose make fun of myself or others and, just do whatever
I
little
think that's the best kind of humor that there is. If you can make fun of yourself, that's it.
I suppose, yeah.
So how was, I mean, we've seen the trailer. There's ace actors like Mr. Prakash Raj, Mr. Adil Hussain, Ms. Barkha. So how was it working with them? Like, what would you say that you've taken away from them as an actor in such roles?
Since you've asked me, I do get asked this question quite often, but I
Yeah.
think you've taken you put a certain nice angle and a depth on that. What I've taken away from these people, and I would, since there are many, as an exercise, I take this upon myself to sort of tell you probably in succinct. If there's one thing that I've learned from everybody, Prakash sir, I think he's, I think, in trusting your impulse and trusting your instinct right before giving a shot, and then depending and sort of focusing on your craft. That it's very important as an actor, I suppose, to keep that impulse alive, keep a very childlike curiosity also alive in yourself, and that I found in him. Um with Adil sir, I suppose it's centering yourself. I think he's somebody who really keeps himself centered. You'd see him doing something or the other to collect himself and then go into it. And he has a certain level of preparedness that you see it reflects really well. Barkha, I think, has kept herself sensitive and vulnerable, and that was really conducive to the character. So that's something that I think is very important as well, to be able to play a certain wide range, to remain like that. Zoya is very, she's very methodical. I think she's also very, she likes knowing a lot of things. How is this character? She likes going into those details. I think that is also very, very important to remember.
Yeah, definitely.
Dilip Shankar is a very well-known name in theatre. I don't, there's so much to learn, but I think just, if I could say one thing, I think he's also very kind around the set. Quiet, does his job, very unassuming. Har Chaya, I think, is a lesson in being courageous as an actor, being able to have the courage to take up, contrasting mannerisms that you necessarily might not be in, that as a human being, as personally. To have the courage to take that up, to have the courage to take up specific mannerisms of different characters without it looking like caricature. I think that is something that I've really learned from him. So there's something or the other that you pick up from everybody, I suppose, as long as you keep observing. And these are really good professionals who are really good at their job. So yes, you're right. I had very lucky like that to have shared space with them.
Okay. Now, on a fun note, if you had to be a spy for a day, so who would you spy on and why? I know my answer, but who would you spy on?
First, you tell me your answer, because my answer is extremely banal.
Okay. So, I mean, I would not like to be a spy. I'd actually like to have the Mr. India watch, or maybe the Harry Potter invisibility cloak, and just spy and just walk around Mr. Shah Rukh Khan for a day. Like, what is his day like? I would love to see that, those fans from the side of Mannat, actually. Like, what does it look like? So definitely spying on Shah Rukh sir one day, hopefully. What would
That's
you
all
spy
of
on?
us. I think that's all of
Definitely.
us. I can't think of a single person who would want to do that, but
Exactly. I can't think of a single person who doesn't want to experience that fan moment. Definitely. So who would you like to spy on?
I don't know if I would want to spy on him. I would definitely want to spend a day with him.
Yeah.
Just on his side, but quietly. I just tell him that I'll not be there.
I might start crying, actually.
Like a shadow. And I will just I keep walking around you like a shadow, and you do whatever you have.
Definitely. Just quietly looking at what he does, and does he do things like us or not?
So yeah, more than being a spy, I just want to hang around, and yeah.
But no, this is my answer. You have to give your answer also. Who else would you like to?
If I ask you what's your favorite actor, and then you're like, no, this is my answer, and you say Shah Rukh Khan is your favorite, and I'm like, no, Shah Rukh Khan is my favorite as well.
Okay, but I'm going to take that anyway. Not a problem. We can share that. It's fine.
Thank you.
Anyway, but that brings us to the end of this interview. It was really fun having you. And thank you for speaking to us about the show, and all the very best for the show. I'm sure it's going to do wonders.
Thank you. Do watch it.
For sure.